big league debut.
Our Brewers Radio Network coverage starts tonight at 6:35. The Brewers take on the Cardinals at AmFam Field. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning. 10 o'clock, we have 58 degrees, partly sunny skies today. Just a slight chance for an afternoon or evening shower. Highs today, 68 Lakeside, 74 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. A Milwaukee police officer shot in the leg. 2 people arrested after a chase last night on the city's northwest side.
The officer was pursuing a suspect flashing a gun near 46th and Hampton, who Police Chief Jeffrey Norman said refused to listen to the officer's command to drop the gun.
And gunfire was exchanged between one of the suspects and our officer.
The suspect's actions drawing the ire of Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
You're too damn old to be shooting at police officers at 39 years old.
A 19-year-old was also arrested, and the officer is expected to survive. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A 12-year-old killed in another overnight shooting on Milwaukee's northwest side, 73rd and Fairmount. No arrests yet in that case. More attacks from Israel today as it continues its operations against Iranian nuclear and missile facilities. ABC's Marcus Moore has more from Tel Aviv.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying Israel had no choice but to act, calling Iran's nuclear program, quote, a clear and present danger.
This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
Iran launching more than 100 drones towards Israel. The IDF saying it has intercepted those drones before reaching Israeli airspace. Israel's defense minister declaring a state of emergency, calling up tens of thousands of troops. Concerns now that the operation overnight could increase chances of all-out war between the countries and expand into a regional conflict.
The initial attacks by Israel reportedly killed several key military leaders and Iranian nuclear scientists. Growing fallout from California Senator Alex Padilla's forced removal from a Department of Homeland Security press conference in Los Angeles when he was handcuffed and forced to the ground after trying to ask DHS Secretary Kristin about ICE arrests of people without criminal records.
Secretary Noem later on said she didn't know who the senator was. Padilla has been a U.S. Senator since 2021, and she is conducting raids in the state where he serves. The senator appearing shaken before the cameras.
If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers.
Noem surrounded by protection, calling Padilla's actions inappropriate.
That's ABC's Matt Rivers. President Trump remains in charge of the California National Guard at least till Tuesday, when a federal appeals court has set a hearing to decide whether the Guard stays under the president's command or goes back to California Governor Gavin Newsom. No King's Day protest planned in over 1,800 communities tomorrow in opposition to President Trump's military parade. One of the organizers of the protest said this week the most patriotic thing you can do in the U.S. this Saturday is to show up peacefully and petition your government for something better. The Kettle Moraine School District is losing an elementary school. McGee Elementary in the town of Genesee will close after the 25-26 school year after an emotional vote this week by the school board.
This is the absolute worst decision I've ever had to make.
This is not what my heart wants. But I know, after reviewing the facts and the data, we owe it to our students and our staff and our community to make that sound financial decision.
The board says the closure will help the district close a projected $7.5 million budget deficit by 2031. Grab some kielbasa and a cold Zyvie. Polish Fest returns to Milwaukee's lakefront today.
At Polish Fest, it's not just about food, it's about history passed down on the plates.
To recognize what heritage is to you, our culture, and display it and have a better understanding of what this is.
Chefs here say the kitchen is where stories are told. It's about tradition, love, and representing culture with every bite.
Food triggers memories. Memories trigger emotions, and that's kind of what I'm going for here.
At Polish Fest, Nizir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is down 554 points. NASDAQ off 176. The S&P 500 down 45. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP.
Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025. It's time to shuffle the deck. And unfortunately for you, a win isn't in the cards.
Smash to center, backing up Michael Harris Jr. Back onto the track, turning, watching it fly. It's up, it's gone! Jackson Chorio.
The Brewers host the Cardinals for a 4-game series. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:35. We are the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers won their series opener. Milwaukee beat the Cardinals 6-0 at home. Milwaukee and St. Louis continue their series today. Brewers appear to have granted pitcher Aaron Civale's request to be traded. ESPN reporting he'll go to the White Sox. Multiple outlets reporting the Brewers will receive first baseman Andrew Vaughn in the trade. And the Wisconsin Badgers football team placed on probation for a year and fined $25,000 for impermissible phone calls to recruits in 2023. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-41 North, almost a half mile beyond the ramp from Lannon Road. Right shoulder, they're blocked due to a disabled vehicle. 94 West at 41, left shoulder, they're blocked due to a broken down vehicle. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny today. Slight chance for an afternoon or evening shower. High 68 to 74. Mostly cloudy, 55 overnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow with highs in the lower to upper 70s. Slight chance for showers and storms on Sunday. High 73 lakeside, 81 inland. Afternoon showers and storms Monday and Tuesday. Monday's high 77 lakeside, 83 inland. Tuesday 80 to 82. 80 lakeside, 82 inland. Madison 63, Green Bay 56, and Milwaukee 58 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Not just Point Taken, the political power hour. The hour of Point Taken.
The hour of Point Taken that is about politics. Yeah, most of it's about politics, but it's specifically with Joe Zepecki, Democratic strategist, and Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, our good friends. Unfortunately, we're not all in the same place. We had a one shiny moment where we were all in the same studio together. But Bill,
I don't know. Bill seems a little grumpy this morning. I'm kind of glad he's not here.
Are you grumpy this morning?
I'm not. I'm going on a trip to see my son. I'm excited. I'm happy.
All right. Well, let's start with the biggest news, even if there's still developing stories around this as far as what we know so far about Israel's missile strikes on Iran and what this does to our nuclear talks, because my understanding is that we were in the middle of them. And so, Joe, we'll start with you as far as what your take on this and what happens with our relationship with Iran. And is this the start of World War III?
Let's hope not. Let's hope that cooler heads prevail. This is a very serious moment geopolitically. Those talks with Iran are now over. This is, another, in my opinion, failure of Donald Trump to deliver on something he promised during the campaign. He said he would bring peace to the world. He said he would bring peace to the Middle East. He said he would bring peace to Ukraine and Russia. He hasn't done it. The danger, as I see it, is that all of the stories we're going to talk about today are kind of interconnected, which is at a moment of crisis like this, you need to be able to trust the American president. And I'm not sure that our allies, our foes geopolitically, or the American people can trust what this president of the United States is saying right now. That makes a very dangerous situation potentially even more dangerous.
Bill, there's a lot of uncertainty about what we know about what's happened so far, other than what's coming out in news releases. Where do you think the story is right now? Obviously, Israel's attacked. They say nuclear sites. Obviously, the leaders in some sort of neighborhood situations. Where do you think this story is right now?
So, like Joe, I'm very nervous about it. This is an unstable part of the world, and we haven't seen peace there in thousands of years, and I don't know where this is going to go. Some of the reporting has said that this was a highly targeted strike, much like the pagers were 2, 3, 4 months ago. Israelis had people embedded into Iran to be able to pull off some of this, and the strikes were very precise. They knew exactly where these guys were. Axios is reporting that the administration may have winked and nodded, saying, go for it. The administration last night said they had nothing to do with it. They have no role in it. Trump reiterated this morning that he gave Iran 60 days to try and figure it out, and the people who are now dead, the former leaders of the Iran military, said no thanks. So it wasn't like he didn't give them an off-ramp. They chose not to take it. And it appears, again, through publicly reported articles you can find anywhere, that a lot of our allies in the region have already defended Israel against counterattacks by Iran. So I'm not sure Iran has the friends they think they did. I think they should have cut a deal. The way I read the president's statement tomorrow, he gave them sort of one more chance to figure this out, or Israel's coming again.
Somebody asked me this question in an email a couple of weeks ago, and it had to do with Israel and their involvement in the region. And they said, and I'm paraphrasing, basically Israel, on the front end of their engagement, whatever their military actions are, they do it more calculated, more pre-planning, more pre-planned than anybody else in the world militarily. Do you agree with that? I'm not saying after the actual attacks, but on the front end?
I do. And I think, for example, just look at that pager operation. Look at the targeted assassinations of these military leaders, even when you see the residential buildings where these folks were apparently meeting their end. That is a very different type of military strike than what Russia is launching into Ukraine, where they are just targeting civilian residential compounds with no care of who gets hit. So, listen, all wars are terrible. And there has been an expectation for the last 80 years that nations ought to conduct war appropriately and due to agreed upon standards, that you go after military targets, not civilians. Israel has lived up to that so far as I can tell with this strike on Iran. In Gaza, that is another story entirely. So this is all complicated and it is dangerous, but it looks like on these strikes, they sort of followed the rules.
Bill?
Yeah, and it would go back to Ukraine's strike on Russia just a couple of weeks ago. The truth is the technology being used today in the 21st century for these military actions are extraordinary. And it may all be U.S. technology, both for Ukraine and definitely for Israel. So the power that this holds in the world and the ability to do these strikes without anyone sort of figuring it out ahead of time is extraordinary. It's a whole new kind of warfare, and it should make you a little bit nervous.
Certainly makes me a little bit nervous. All right, well, let's move on to the home front when we come back after this commercial, because there's certainly a lot to talk about from the protests, not only just in L.A., but across the country. A U.S. senator was detained yesterday, so let's get to all of that after this on Point Taken.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day at Milwaukee Weight Loss? They've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scaffidi from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe, and I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here. I hope you'll join me every Saturday at 1 o'clock for Experience Wisconsin, where we check in with communities from across the state for the best and brightest spots, some places that are fun, some places that are educational around our great state. This week, we are joined by the owner of the iconic supper club, Ishnala. That's going to be a great conversation. And visit Lake Geneva's leader, that is Stephanie Collette. That's going to be a blast. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 right here on WTMJ.
Point Taken Political Power Hour of the first hour of the 2-hour extravaganza. Kristin, Brey, alongside yours truly. Joseph Pecky in studio. Bill McCoshen on his way to something we'll talk about a little bit later in the program. But an incident was sort of, as Joe said, is a sort of a segue into a larger conversation. U.S. Senator, California, with the last name Padilla.
Alex Padilla.
Roughed up at a Kristi Noem presser. Sort of an interesting...
This is interesting because it feels like another example of we all saw the video, and yet so many people saw different things watching the same video.
What a surprise in this country. That's the way we viewed it.
Right? As far as it's not someone's interpretation or that only eyewitnesses are saying what they saw. It's like we all saw the same video as far as him announcing himself as he was getting pushed back. And so it's fascinating to me to watch how some people are defending this, saying this was the right move, and some people are obviously on like a 5-alarm saying this is as bad as it's going to get. This is terrible.
Yeah, I might have a slightly different take than a lot of Democrats on this. Listen, I saw the video. It did not look like a lunge to me. A U.S. senator tried to ask a question. Now, mistakes happen, right? Security details sometimes overreact. They have very, very difficult jobs, and we should thank them for that. My problem with this is the aftermath of it. Because if a mistake happens and a United States senator is detained or cuffed or shoved to the ground, the role of a co-equal branch of government is to express their regret, remorse, and apologize for it. And say, this should not happen. We will be taking corrective action with the officers involved. Mistakes happen. We are mortified by this. That's not what Kristi Noem did. I have not heard President Trump or anyone from the executive branch apologize for this. And that tells me that they are spoiling for fights with other co-equal branches of government. We're seeing it in the courts. Now we're seeing it with Congress. This is not American to have an executive branch trying to minimize the other two branches in this way.
Do you think Senator Padilla went there knowing that he was going to get involved in an altercation, or was he strictly just there to ask a question?
I hope
you're honest answer.
I believe he was there to ask a question, and I believe that if you are the United States Senator for California and you hear what Secretary Noem was saying from that podium, your blood pressure goes up. The Secretary of Homeland Security stood there and said troops were there to liberate the city from the democratically elected mayor of Los Angeles and governor of California. That is crazy talk. So I can understand why his blood pressure went up. Mine's going up right now.
All right, Bill, your perspective.
So one thing Joe and I always agree on is de-escalation is always better than escalation. And I think there were a lot of mistakes made. The first of which was I don't know what the senator's motives were, and frankly, until yesterday, I had no idea who he was. Kristin had to tell me who he was. He's not a prominent senator, but he's one of 100, right? So that makes him somewhat unique. He did not have an identification pin on. If you don't know anything about Washington, D.C., all members of Congress have a very identifiable pin that says they're a member of Congress. Every Secret Service agent knows what that pin means. That probably would have de-escalated this from the start. As I watched the tape, I don't know if he lunged forward. He definitely was aggressive when he tried to ask a question. Where I think he crossed the line is when he started to get pushed back. He pushed back forward. There's no question about that. You can watch that tape as many times as you want. You will see him aggressively push back, and that's when the thing went out of control. I think the Secret Service agents followed it by the book. They did what they had to do. They had no idea who the guy was. They had a cabinet member there. You know, their job is to protect her. So were a lot of mistakes made for sure, even in the aftermath. I didn't like the people on my side sort of FAFO, for this guy. I think all of this should have been and could have been avoided. I think he should have asked her for a meeting. If he's in the same building, he could have had his aides find her aides and say, hey, can I talk to you for 10 minutes before you leave? By God, that would have happened, So I got to wonder if he was there for a desired outcome that he ultimately got. But I don't think any purpose was served other than to further inflame things, which is unnecessary.
Well, they did meet after, but she never apologized. And that's part of the context here as well. Go ahead. Sorry, Kristin.
No. I was just going to say, what's interesting to me is also what you saying what we said as far as this is not Cory Booker, right? This is not a U.S. senator, while he's one of 100 who has theatrics, a history of theatrics to raise.
If it was Adam Schiff, everybody would have known who it was.
Yes,
the other California senator.
So that makes me think that there was more sincerity in his attempt in this instead of trying to cause a scene, since he doesn't have a history of trying to cause a scene and bring attention to his profile, his issues, because I think a lot of people were like, wait, is this a California state senator or a U.S. senator? Because he does not have a very high profile.
Let me ask it this way. Was it performative on either side?
I don't think so.
It just happened.
Like I think, and it's entirely like I don't actually think, and Bill and I can go back and forth on this. Like I don't believe Secret Service is responsible for protecting all of the secretaries because Secret Service is under DHS. Maybe it is entirely possible these weren't DC-based Secret Service agents who would have less context and understanding of who the senator was. This could be out of the LA office. We just don't know. And in these very tense situations that are getting more chaotic, and we can talk about that after the break, I just think in the heat of the moment, people overdid it. But to Bill's point about de-escalation, there was no reason for the theatrics afterwards from the right.
Let's take that break. Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi, Point taking the political power hour version, first hour of that show, our show. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen on the road, heading off to a very important event tomorrow, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the program. Thanks for listening as always. Quick break. Back after this.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit Froedtert.com/cancer.
I can save you at least $2,000. Vince Vetrano here for my team at USA Insulation, where Jeff is offering a minimum savings of $2,000 on your insulation project of $5,000 or more. These are the folks with the proprietary injection foam, filling your walls from bottom to top, where you lose up to 85% of your summer cooling. Find out how much Jeff can save you. Book your free in-home consultation today at usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack Essential Everyday Purified Water, 2 for $6. 7 to 16-ounce selected varieties Barilla Pasta or Ready Pasta, 2 for $3. 6-count selected varieties Klondike Bars, 2 for $8. 12-ounce selected varieties Hella Good Dips, 2 for $3.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers.
Safe. Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m., June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. He is Steve Scaffidi. And, of course, it is Friday. So we are talking to our friends Joe Zepecki and Bill McCoshen. All right. So we have discussed Senator Alex Padilla's detainment yesterday. But, of course, this is all because of the protests that have erupted last weekend and have escalated now. Has the military actually been, they're still on standby. They're not in the streets.
No, they're there. They're protecting federal buildings for sure. We've seen photos of that. And we are hearing reports that they're providing perimeter security for ICE agents as they are conducting additional workplace raids.
Okay.
So not taken to the streets.
And then there's 4,000 National Guard. So that's, which is a lot.
And at least 700, maybe another battalion of Marines.
All in L.A. But what's interesting to me is, so my brother lives in L.A. right now, lives in Hollywood, works in Beverly Hills, so makes that commute, pretty far east enough down to kind of central L.A. And he's like, I haven't noticed.
It's a massive city.
It is a massive, massive city.
It's a massive
Yeah, we're not
city.
thinking about the size of Milwaukee's downtown with more density. This L.A. is enormous. Among the things I would like to get off my chest here is that this is using a bazooka to respond to spitballs. There was one protest where these anarchist knuckleheads were actually lighting stuff on fire and being stupid and breaking the law. The notion that a protest of less than 300 people cannot be handled by the 9,000 sworn officers of Los Angeles County and additional state resources is ridiculous. I actually trust cops to do their job and take care of that nonsense. This was, to Bill's point, to rib him a little bit, and Kristin mentioned during the break, or maybe it was a texter, the escalation here was usurping the authority of the commander-in-chief of the California National Guard, Governor Newsom, federalizing the National Guard, and calling in the Marines. This is not a job for Marines, and it wasn't a job that required the National Guard.
Something, by the way, that President Trump, Kristi Noem, and others have said the opposite.
Right. When Noem was governor of South Dakota, and there were rumors that Biden might.
No.
She was horribly offended by this.
Let me ask it this way, Bill. What do you think American citizens, people of this country, think about what's happening in these protests in Los Angeles? Where do you think the public's at on this?
So the polling is favorable towards what Trump is doing overall. As it relates to mass deportations, the polling's plus 10, plus 12. As it relates to deporting criminals, it's more like plus 19 or 20. Generally, people think he did the right thing as it relates to the National Guard. This is one where, again, the governor and the president should have been able to work this out. He should have been able to say, I can't protect your ICE agents, which would necessitate the governor calling up the National Guard, which he chose not to do. And frankly, the mayor didn't want him to do. So I think you're seeing a very different reaction than we saw in 2020 over the George Floyd stuff, whether it was Antifa or BLM. I think we all are aware there were significant riots around the country, including in Kenosha and Wauwatosa that summer, and some in Madison. And we may see that same thing this weekend. We'll see. But I think the Trump administration is saying, A, I'm not running for re-election. There isn't an election year. I can never run again. And B, I'm for law and order. That's what I ran on. And if the locals aren't willing to enforce the laws, we will.
Real quick,
real quick. Trump's net approval on handling immigration has fallen from 5.1 in the positive to negative 1.3 over the course of the last
source
week.
Of that information is
GElliotMorris.com. It's a poll of polls.
All right. He is Joseph Pecky. Bill Bukashin joining us, thankfully from a location away from studio, but joining us for the full hour today. We got a half hour left of the conversation. What are we going to talk? We got the big parade
I think
up?
there's more LA to get to. There's a competing legal decisions.
We'll get to that. But we're not skipping a parade. Trust me.
And the immigration, tacoing from Donald Trump yesterday.
Yeah. So maybe some give on that from the president. I will ask Bill about that and more. So we've got Connie Weber for our local news update. Before we get to any of that, always here for you at the bottom of the hour. The latest now from ABC News.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Israel has begun stationing troops in all combat arenas through the country as its attack on Iran continues. Iran warning of severe punishment for the strikes. ABC military analyst and former State Department employee Steve Ganyard has more on what's happening.
The Israelis have a large air force, very capable air force, but it's a long way. It's almost 1,000 miles from Tel Aviv to where the nuclear sites are. So it's going to take them some time. Lots of different sorties. We know that there are strikes again, 3 or 4 waves today. So let's watch this play out over the next couple weeks, because to take down the whole nuclear program is going to take a lot of time and a lot of strikes.
And he says all of this was well planned.
It's very interesting to see how they're deliberately, piece by piece, taking down the leadership of the military, going base by base, nuclear facility by nuclear facility. That's why this is going to take a couple weeks, but it is a very deliberate plan. The Israelis have had decades to prepare for this.
This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A man convicted in a brutal sexual assault of a UW-Madison student will spend 3 decades behind bars. 28-year-old Brandon Thompson of Brooklyn pled guilty last year to charges in the random attack of a woman behind a home in downtown Madison in September of 2023. The woman in her 20s suffered a broken jaw and brain bleed and was placed into a medically induced coma for days after the attack. Man falsely accused of threatening to assassinate President Trump out of custody. Ramon Morales Reyes posted $7,500 bond at Dodge County Detention Center after an immigration judge ruled he can go free earlier this week. He was accused of writing a letter threatening the president, but investigators say another man, Demetric Scott, framed him to clear his case, allegedly stealing Morales Reyes' bike in 2023. Morales Reyes cleared of all charges related to the threats, but he still faces possible deportation. Another cancellation, 2 additions to the Summerfest lineup. Hip-hop group Bone Thugs and Harmony has dropped out, citing health issues. Hip-hop veteran Bow Wow will instead play the Aurora stage on Juneteenth, first day of the festival. Summerfest also adding Young Gravy to the lineup. University of Wisconsin-Madison alum will headline the Miller Lite Oasis on June 21st. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 443 points at 42,524. NASDAQ down 120, 19,541. S&P 500 down 29 points at 6,015. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a disabled vehicle. It is off right, blocking the shoulder. This is going to be I-41 south at the ramp from County Road G. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Slight chance for afternoon and evening showers today. High 68 to 74. Mostly cloudy. Low 55 overnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow with highs in the lower to upper 70s. Chance for an afternoon shower or storm on Sunday. High 73 to 81. Afternoon and evening showers and storms on Monday. Possibly as well. High 77 to 83. And that chance for rain continues on Tuesday with highs 80 to 82 inland. 63 in Madison, 56 in Green Bay, 58 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:34.
It's your girl Noni Juice for Sweet Talks. Self-love isn't selfish. Feeling confident improves all aspects of your character. And no one understands that quite like Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Step into their judgment-free zone, where a staff of registered nurse injectors leads the way. Recommending Botox, Dysport, or Daxify, Sweet Talks goes beyond injectables, though. They offer facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. See why you'll want to join thousands of loyal patients at sweettalks.com.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handled all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
Okay, adventurers, listen up. Fox World Travel just dropped some seriously incredible Fox Group vacation destinations for 2026. Set sail on a yacht through the Croatian coastline, join a thrilling African safari, or immerse yourself in the mecca of all flower shows in London. And for the first time, we're introducing a woman's-only tour, partnering with Insight Vacations, Globus, and African Travel. But these are just a few of the exclusive offerings. But don't wait. They're filling up fast. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to reserve your spot today.
All the messages in the music. Thank you, producer Jazz, Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi, Joe Spector, Bill McCoshen on the road, on location, on his way to Washington, D.C. All right, let's continue the conversation. Joe, you wanted to dig deeper on the sort of the big picture stuff?
I did. I think the context matters here. Like about a week ago, we saw a report from the Wall Street Journal, no liberal rag, that Stephen Miller had dressed down ICE leadership and saying, you've got to stop just going after the bad guys. You need to arrest 3,000 people a day. And apparently, based on reporting from people who were in the room, said, just go to a Home Depot, go to a 7-Eleven. I could go right now and find 30 guys. And wouldn't you know it, right? We know stuff rolls downhill. And then over the weekend, what we saw in Los Angeles were ICE raids on Home Depots, where you literally had masked federal agents jumping out of unmarked vans and tackling people outside of Home Depots. So what started this were spontaneous protests because people didn't know who the hell these folks were jumping out of vans and tackling people and spontaneously protesting. That then grew into more organized protest and that group of knuckleheads in the one little spot. But I think it's worth taking a step back to think about the overall picture here. Donald Trump said in the campaign they were going to go after the bad hombres, right? The criminal immigrants to this country. Instead, they have now moved the goalpost, and we are seeing with increasing frequency every day employers who voted for Trump being like, whoa, they just took a third of my guys. My business might close. You are seeing Trump come out and say things like, well, for the farmers in the hospitality industry, these are people who have been here for a long time and they work really hard. So maybe we got to change the rules a little bit. And this is what I mean when these stories are all connected. You can't trust this administration because they're saying one thing and doing another and just making it up as they go along.
Bill, is President Donald J. Trump, softening on that specific part of the last thing Joe said, where some industry leaders, some business owners are saying, wait, hold on a second here. I didn't sign up for this. What do you think?
Yeah, take him at what he said yesterday. You can remember some things I said prior to the election, which was one of my concerns about Trump if he were to get a second term, which he has, was it would be Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. And I think there's a lot of risk for what the president did with his own base yesterday, because you can find plenty of True Social posts where he just says mass deportation. That doesn't mean
there were signs at the RNC.
There were signs at the RNC. So it could have meant a broad swath. Let's not forget 20 million unvetted migrants came in under the Biden administration. So there was, even if Trump could get to 3 million deportations, which is the number Barack Obama got to, he's still 2 million short of that. And Bill Clinton got to 12 million. Context does matter. Joe's right about that. If any of your listeners can text in, do you remember a single protest during the Clinton administration or the Obama administration about deportations? The answer is no. There were none. This is all manufactured.
But Bill,
these people are getting paid.
Is there not an argument that because of the way that they were going about those deportations, where there was due process and it wasn't masked ICE agents just
You
taking
don't know
people?
that there was due process.
You don't
You're
know that there
making
weren't
up.
protests.
You don't know that. You find one. Find one. Google it. GTS, Joe. Let the listeners.
But that's just what I'm guessing as far as why there was not protest then, is because there was more due process and there wasn't. And maybe it wasn't because there was no
because
social
it was
media,
a Democrat who was doing it, not a Republican. That's why.
All right, let me get the last word on this. I'm asking Bill a question. Do you think President Trump will at some point in this conversation say, you know what, we're going to sort of reevaluate how we're doing these? Will he say those in his own way, unique way, his own words, say that to his base and to America in some sort of a setting?
He certainly laid the table for that yesterday. No question about it.
And how do you
as
think
I
the
said
base
a
will
little
respond
while
to
ago
that?
in the show, not well. There were a lot of negative comments on social media yesterday about
so
that.
you think the base wants all people who are here
all
undocumented
illegals.
out?
Yeah.
One final point on
but,
this.
Trump's got a point. As far as the economy goes, which I've said many, many times, after solving the border issue, which he's largely done, the economy has to be his highest priority. There is a real impact, right? People I'm watching houses go up in my neighborhood. My guess is a lot of these folks who are doing these roofing or some of the inside work are not here legally, but I don't see ICE in my neighborhood, right? These guys are doing their job, getting paid, and going home to their families. So what he said yesterday is the more reasonable answer, but it isn't what he's been saying the last 24 months.
All right, Bill, speaking the truth there. Bill McCosh and Joe Zepecki after the break. Don't rain on my parade. That's next.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Rick, that was positively poetic. Mother Nature sings diamonds. Sarah, wow, you can sing.
Born in the heart of a plasma chamber, created diamonds fall softly like snowflakes from the heart of a star.
A star that shines like true love.
Natural diamonds are earthborn.
Created diamonds are starborn.
Kessler's has the largest selection of natural diamonds in the state of Wisconsin. All the different sizes, all the fancy shapes.
Give her a fancy diamond. We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
Bigger, brighter natural diamonds.
And financing that makes anything possible.
Kessler's is the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America.
Which means we can do anything we want to do.
For you.
Mother Nature sings diamonds.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, it's Father's Day weekend. Don't forget your dad. WTMJ's John Mercure here tonight through Sunday at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. All dinners are buy one, get one free. This is an incredible place to treat your dad. What great value, too. This Saturday only, enjoy a 10-ounce prime rib and a 5-ounce lobster tail with garlic cream sauce, your choice of potato, fresh vegetables, super salad, and the Fox and Hound's warm bread with that honey cinnamon butter. I love that. For $79.99, and that's for 2 dinners. 2 dinners. Celebrate with your dad with an old-fashioned, over 20 bourbons, 100 wines, all the ice-cold beer choices that he loves in those 8 unique dining rooms. The Fox and Hound sits in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. The drive and the views are spectacular. And your second dinner is free. This Saturday only, your prime rib and lobster dinner with all the delicious sides, just $79.99 for 2 dinners. Call and reserve today for your Father's Day table. It's a free dinner for Dad. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Oh, welcome to the Friday edition Political Power Hour of Point Taken. Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi, and Joseph Pecky in studio, and Bill McCutcheon on the road. Bill is on the road.
To go
to the big...
Wait, we're not going to let Bill apologize first?
No. To the big... Look, we're moving on,
He just
guys.
misinformed the listening audience.
We're moving on. We're
So did Kristin. If you read all of those, all that stuff you got on AI.
There were multiple numerous protests of Obama's deportation policy.
In part, one of them was because of lack of due process.
So there you go. We both were wrong. We'll both apologize.
Yeah.
That's
Can't know everything.
That's why you don't go backwards.
That's why
All
you
right.
GTS.
That's why you
Bill
GTS.
McCutcheon, you are heading to Washington, D.C. for the big military parade yesterday. It's the celebration, obviously, of the 250th anniversary of the Army, which is very cool. Also happens to be the birthday of the President of the United States. 79th birthday, by the way. So he's getting close to that 80 mark. Big questions, of course, when you have a president that's 80. Splashy is one of the terms that's going to be used, especially when you consider the forecast. Bill, what do you expect to see tomorrow in Washington, D.C.?
I'm not sure. We're actually going, so the listeners understand, it's our youngest son. He works out there in the administration. It's his 26th birthday early next week, and then my oldest brother will get sworn in on Monday as the administrator of the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Seaway Development Corporation, which is really cool. He's worked on the Great Lakes for 45 years. Super qualified for the position. So, it's quite an honor for him and for our family, and I think for the state of Wisconsin for that. So the parade happened to be this weekend that we're going to be there. So, yes, my son got us tickets. There are 3 ticketed areas, as I understand it. That didn't mean much during the inauguration. We had great tickets for the inauguration outside, and it all got canceled because it was too cold. So I don't know if it'll get canceled if it's a thunderstorm tomorrow, but as far as the ticketing part of it. But I'm looking forward to it. I've never seen anything like that other than on TV in different countries where they do military sort of parades.
What kind of countries? What kind of countries,
China,
Bill?
North Korea.
Yeah, well, those are 2. Except they carry big bombs down Main Street, right?
No bombs
Missiles.
tomorrow. No bombs tomorrow.
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so. I'm hoping it's patriotic and people enjoy themselves. We're getting close to the 4th of July. It's time, everything doesn't have to be political. It's time to start to come together a little bit and enjoy what are all the good parts about being an American.
At any point, Bill, will you or your guests or the people around you have the desire to storm the Capitol? No?
No.
All right.
No, we are going to get a little private tour of the White House tonight, which would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh, somebody asked me, Bill.
Weekend.
Somebody asked me, Bill, have you ever met the president?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Don't lunge at him.
Nope.
Yeah, don't lunge at him. Who's that guy being wrestled to the ground? That's Bill McCutcheon. He does a radio hit on Friday mornings on WTMJ.
Let me just say this. The president's comments this week about any protests being met with overwhelming force are decidedly un-American and have no place in our politics. Violence is not acceptable and must be met with force from the state. Peaceful protest is the very foundation of this country. The Declaration of Independence was nothing if not an act of protest. The idea that we would use the power of the state to go after peaceful protesters and demonstration is un-American, period, full stop.
Real quick before we get to the last break, before we get to the grab bag, any concern from a conservative Republican perspective that this thing is costing quite a bit of our coin to stage tomorrow?
We'll see how it goes. People may all say, well, that was really cool and it was worth it and it made us feel great about the country we all live in. We'll see. It's a big number, 45 million, I think was the last estimate I saw. We're working on cutting the budget, not adding to the budget. So it is a question mark. And from a conservative standpoint, you got to be very careful about stuff like that.
All right. Well, if it doesn't get canceled, we expect to see all of your content on the gram, Bill.
I thought we ended cancel culture.
All right. When we come back, we will get to the grab bag with Joe and Bill. I am Kristin. He is Steve. And this is Point Taken.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTNJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. Snoring, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. Don't be that grouchy guy or girl in the morning. Get the sleep you deserve. My nose wasn't working properly, so I went to Advent 5 years ago. I wasn't a spokesperson. I was just a customer and a client. And I talked through my issues. We did a really simple sleep study at home. They determined my problem, the root cause, sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure in one of the great offices, breathing better than ever since that time. And the even better part, Kathy and I sleep well and soundly through the whole night. That's the recipe for sleep success. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at ACCUNET.com.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. This summer, I'm getting relief from the hot Wisconsin sun whenever I need it with my motorized retractable awning from Comfort Awnings. Sensors are also available that detect strong winds and rain to extend or retract your awning. They even protect against UV radiation so you can safely enjoy the outdoors all summer long. Family owned and located in Burlington, Comfort Awnings expertly installs custom awnings that fit your home and style. Right now, you can receive $400 off your awning or screen. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. All right, since we got most of the politics out of our systems, let's finish up with some grab bags.
Oh, we do it every Friday as we wrap it up with Joseph Becky, Bill McCosh, and our strategist friends who have been part of the show for a long time. And since he's on the road and on his way to Washington, D.C. for the big, beautiful parade, Bill, we'll let you go first. Grab bag. What is it on this Friday?
So my grab bag is a good luck to my friend Joe Zepecki. He is running for chairman of the Democratic Party at their state convention this weekend against a gentleman named Devin Remaker. I don't believe I've ever met Devin Remaker. For the listeners, politics is very much a participatory sport. If you want to change what you see, what you hear, how things are going, you have to get on the field. And for Joe to raise his hand and say, I'm willing to campaign all over this state and try and become the next leader of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin with some big shoes to fill in Ben Wickler, that I give him a lot of credit for that. It's not an easy thing to do. Politics is very ugly these days, as we talk about every Friday. And so my hat tip is to Joe. My fear is Ben Wickler, the outgoing chairman who instead he was going to stay neutral and then decided to endorse Joe's opponent. Listen, in politics, the only currency you really have is your word. And in my view, Ben Wickler went back on his word to Joe, and I think that says a lot about Ben, and I think it says a lot about Joe that Joe didn't attack after that. And I wish my friend Joe well, even though it may ultimately hurt my party in the long run.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And the case I'm making to delegates is who is best prepared to make change, because I do think the Democratic Party needs some changes. Doesn't mean change for change's sake, right? We don't scrap the things that are working, but I think what the voters are saying is the Democratic Party needs a new approach on some things. And, to Bill's point, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think change was important, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think I was capable of making that change, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it was vitally important, right? You got to get out there and do it. So thank you, sir. Thank you for not endorsing me.
So are you saying that no matter the outcome this weekend, we're not going to have Ken Martin leaked audio as far as the David Hogg, all the infighting happening at the national level? God.
No. We need to come out of this convention unified, and I know that we will. My grab bag is nothing about the race, nothing about politics. It is Father's Day weekend and Polish Fest weekend. Steve, Bill, happy Father's Day. Kristin, to your father, to your husband, happy Father's Day, and to all the listeners out there, the dear old dads. We see you, we love you, we appreciate you. I will not be able to spend much time with my dad this weekend because he will be working volunteering at Polish Fest. So he'll be missing his number one boy. I do have two younger siblings, but I'll be in the Dells. So if you're at Polish Fest, go into the souvenir stand, ask for Dave Zapecki, and tell him what you think of me, no matter what you think of me. And if you're not interested in the souvenirs he's selling, there's a vodka tasting in that same building.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Good information.
Isn't the whole point of vodka that it doesn't really taste like good vodka doesn't taste like anything?
Well, it's Polish vodka as opposed to Russian vodka.
Okay.
And, anything we can do to hurt that Russian economy as they continue to attack civilians in Ukraine. I'm for.
And my grab bag is selfish. I do a podcast called Scaffidi. I had a great interview with Omar Shek from 3rd Street Market Hall and obviously the great restaurant Carnivore. Check it out wherever you get your podcast or at WTMJ.com. Next week, I just recorded it yesterday. Sarah Pancari from Summerfest, president and CEO, talking all things Summerfest and how she got where she is. Those two, I did those two people back to back because they're great thought leaders and leaders in our community. I'm a fan of Milwaukee. So when I see texts that are saying, well, why would I go to Milwaukee? People like that who do great work every day, the Joe Zapeckis, the Bill McCoshens, the Kristins, and maybe sometimes even me, we tell a story of a city that we love to work, live, and play in. That doesn't get said enough. So check those podcasts out. Sarah's will be live right before Summerfest starts next week. A whole nother hour. We're going to talk more praise, but
do you have a grab bag, Kristin?
I get another hour to talk. So because we're up against the clock, I can do my grab bag and talk about whatever I want next hour.
Have a great trip. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Joe Zapecki, Bill McCoshen. We'll second hour this point taken with Kristin and Steve. We'll give her an extra grab bag in the second hour. How about that?
Extra grab bag.
Extra grab bag. We'll do it after the news, which is next.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling, numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
I had seen people with the bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit ovationhand.com. ovationhand.com.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, you always have unique insights as to what's affecting the insurance industry and actually what it means for all the folks listening. We're 6 months into 2025. What are you seeing?
Thank you, Vince. Great to be here again.
2025 has so far been defined by three very material happenings: catastrophic losses. Whether it's tornadoes here locally, wildfires in California, it's shaping up to be another expensive year. Legal system abuse, attorney advertising, and third-party litigation funding are rightfully getting a lot of attention these days. Lastly, volatile investment markets. Big declines and big gains have led the roller coaster that's been 2025.
Yeah, so why is that so important to not only insurers, but more importantly to folks listening right now?
Vince, despite the catastrophic weather, despite the factors driving more attorney involvement and higher costs, adding to this wild swings in investment returns, the current insurance market can present opportunities for buyers. There's multiple types of insurance where costs are decreasing, other types of insurance where costs are increasing. These opportunities are created if you're working with the right insurance professional.
So why should a business or family work with R&R Insurance?
At R&R Insurance, we understand complex, dynamic issues and how this impacts businesses and families. We understand how to best protect your company assets or your personal assets. And at R&R Insurance, we're on top of issues like this and have been for almost 50 years. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Learn more at myknowledgebroker.com.
Those little birds from St. Louis better take shelter. There's a storm brewing in Milwaukee.
Swing and a miss. Pajes is gone. 101 on the fastball from Mizorowski. 5 scoreless in his big league debut.
Our Brewers Radio Network coverage starts tonight at 6:35. The Brewers take on the Cardinals at AmFam Field. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:01, we have 59 degrees. It's going to be partly sunny today with just a slight chance of rain later this afternoon or this evening. High 68 to 74. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. On the city's northwest side last night,
as far as we know, it's a gunshot wound to the lower left leg.
Officer has been transported by 53.
Milwaukee police officer will survive after being shot in the leg. The suspected shooter, a 39-year-old, shot by return police gunfire, happened after a brief foot chase, 46th and Hampton. A 19-year-old suspect was also arrested and 2 ghost guns were recovered at the scene. Iran's supreme leader today warned Israel of severe punishment for its strikes early this morning that killed top Iranian military officers and nuclear scientists. ABC News military analyst and former State Department official retired Colonel Stephen Ganyard on Israeli attempts to strike missile bases before Iran could launch missiles against Israel.
Seeing pictures now that the Israelis are releasing of Mossad teams, intelligence teams operating inside of Iran that took out those ballistic missile sites before they had a chance to launch. So from an intelligence perspective, this is just brilliant what the Israelis have done. They've gone back and they've used the Hezbollah playbook where they're taking out all of the top leadership within the military.
President Trump says Iran needs to agree to a nuclear deal before Israel unleashes something even more brutal. Trump administration has provided the personal information, including immigration status, for millions of Medicaid enrollees to deportation officials. That's according to emails obtained by the Associated Press. California, Illinois, Washington State, and Washington, D.C. allow immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally to enroll in relatively new Medicaid programs that pay for their expenses using only state taxpayer dollars. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula.
The Trump administration has provided the personal information, including immigration status, for millions of Medicaid enrollees to deportation officials. That's according to emails obtained by the Associated Press. California, Illinois, Washington State, and Washington, D.C. allow immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally to enroll in relatively new Medicaid programs that pay for their expenses using only state taxpayer dollars.
Part of the Big Beautiful Bill brings new requirements for Medicaid recipients. Changes include requiring recipients to prove they've been working 80 hours a month. Healthcare professor Dr. Stacy B. Lee at Johns Hopkins University tells WTMJ's Point Taken this could make healthcare harder to access.
I don't know about making America healthy again. We are setting up an infrastructure that will result in hospitals and clinics bearing the price tag for as long as they can to provide care without a federal safety or a state safety net.
If the bill passes, Dr. Lee says some people's primary care may only be found in emergency rooms. Legislation heads to the Senate next. The new Milwaukee County Health and Human Services Center building is officially opening its doors just west of downtown.
Community members and city leaders are gathering today for the opening of the Marcia Cogs Health and Human Services building. The facility is located on West Cherry Street and will provide a number of services to the community. We'll hear from a number of city leaders, also family members of the Cogs on hand today as the building honors the legacy of Marcia Cogs, who was the first African-American woman elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Another important traffic advisory for area commuters for the weekend. Now it's for the other direction.
This weekend, beginning tonight at 11, 894 eastbound will undergo a full extended closure between the Hale interchange and the Mitchell interchange. Like the westbound side last weekend, this 54-hour closure is necessary for final paving operations and is scheduled to last through Monday morning at 5:30. The westbound routes will stay open during the eastbound closure. The DOT suggests drivers using alternate routes, and all work is weather dependent, but if you want more information, head to WTMJ.com. Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow down 398 points, NASDAQ off 101, S&P 500 is down 26. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:05.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
The Cane Table from Penny Mustard is more than just a table.
It's hosted countless brunches and long conversations with friends.
It's served as an emergency office on snow days or when the kids come down with the croup.
It's seen its fair share of crumbs between the leaves.
Or drool from the dog waiting for food to drop.
The Cane Table is made for signing important documents.
Holding family meetings.
And painstakingly piecing together puzzles.
It's headquarters for homework.
Craft projects.
Board games.
And the wrapping of various gifts.
The Cane's Encore chairs have been used to relax.
To build blanket forts.
Or to help reach something on the back of the top shelf.
It's not about food.
It's about memories.
So it's gotta last.
It's made in the Midwest. So it will.
For generations to come.
The Cane Dining Room Table with 6 Encore chairs starting at $61.97 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers won their series opener. Milwaukee beat the Cardinals 6-0 at home. Milwaukee and St. Louis continue their series today. Wisconsin Badgers football team placed on probation for a year and fined $25,000 for impermissible phone calls to recruits in 2023. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-41 south at the ramp from County G. The right shoulder there was blocked due to a disabled vehicle. It looks like that has been cleared. There is some slowing. I-41 southbound and northbound Highway Q to the Zoo interchange. Also look for some slow and go traffic. I-43 south, Brown Deer Road to downtown. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny today with a slight chance of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. High 68 lakeside, 74 inland, cloudy and 55 overnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow, high 70 to 78. Slight chance of evening or afternoon showers and storms on Sunday. Also Monday and Tuesday. High Sunday, 73 lakeside, 81 inland, 77 to 83 on Monday, and Tuesday's high again with that chance of showers and storms. Highs 80 lakeside up to 82 inland. 66 in Madison, 57 in Green Bay, 59 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
All right. You got 1 hour left, Steve.
Not that we're keeping track or anything.
You are free at last to go on vacation.
And thanks to the people who are saying safe travels and good luck. And I'll talk about when I come back, because I'm not one of these people that goes places and then ignores the conversation.
You don't just totally unplug?
No. And
I don't either.
somebody asked me this. They were asking about one of my trips, future trips, which is now sold out, the Hawaii trip. But like why I love, because you meet different people, you experience different things, and whether you can go to Europe or Africa or wherever or a county over from where the county you live, you should experience what other people are thinking about and doing and how they're living their lives. I think it enriches your life. You know, in our own weird way, there's this Wisconsin thing where we just like really hold on to our Wisconsin stuff, and almost creepily, in my opinion. But I don't want to talk about that. We're talking about parades.
You love this story.
I love that. I love this story because we're talking about parades, and obviously the big, beautiful parade in Washington, D.C. tomorrow at 6:30 p.m., I think, local time.
It's that late in the day.
Which surprised me.
Well, I guess it is summer. We're approaching summer solstice, so like the sun won't be set yet. But I always think of a parade as like a daytime thing.
I would think, and wouldn't it be more kids could go, or do they not want kids at the parade? I don't know. It's in downtown D.C., not downtown, but around the mall.
It starts at 7:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's late for a parade.
All right, so I saw this story we actually have the audio. You want to tee it up that way, or should I just sort of set the table a little bit?
Set the table a little bit, and then we'll play this from Fox 6.
So the story is the city of Oconomowoc, I should say. The Rotary Club, who has sort of been the unofficial sponsor of their 4th of July parade, which is a normal thing. It happens all. There's clubs that get involved. Cities and communities do their own thing, and some of them don't even have them on the 4th of July. Well, they sort of wanted to do something sort of different, and they wanted to stage like a non-political 4th of July parade. And when you think about what that might mean, it can mean a lot of things.
Because it was vague.
It was very vague, maybe purposely. And I have some detail. Journal Sentinel did some great reporting on this. But let's play the Fox 6 piece and just sort of listen to what especially the residents have to say about this idea of this non-political parade. Fox 6.
It's long. It's 2 minutes.
That's okay.
Oconomowoc is celebrating 150 years this year, and because of that milestone, the Rotary Club said that it wanted to make its 4th of July parade unique. However, people who live here did not necessarily like that idea. People in Oconomowoc are proud to call it home as the city celebrates 150 years. But once politics clashed with the 4th of July parade, the chatter started.
A lot of times we forget what we're actually celebrating, and that's the 4th of July, not our politics.
On Monday, the Rotary Club posted the parade would be non-political and, quote, "Our aim remains to create a universally enjoyable atmosphere where Oconomowoc's legacy and community unity can shine brightly, unimpeded by partisan elements." That decision left people with mixed feelings.
I just think it's very important to recognize their hard work and what they're doing.
I don't think they belong in the parade. They're spinning their wheels over nothing.
Wednesday, the Rotary Club sent out a clarification apologizing for the confusion. The Rotary Club says their intentions were, quote, misunderstood, and says in bold, all political parties and representatives are welcome and encouraged to participate fully in the parade, as has been our long-standing tradition.
I like to see as many people included as possible.
In their stated purpose of wanting to create unity, it created division.
Wisconsin Representative Barbara Dietrich, who is from Oconomowoc, says it's also important to elected officials. The parade is a chance to connect with constituents. Meanwhile, some people don't want the message of the 4th to get lost in the controversy.
It's America's birthday. It's not Democrat or Republican.
The Rotary Club would not do an on-camera interview today. We also reached out to the mayor and the Common Council president for comment on this, but have not heard back. Reporting live in Oconomowoc, Christina Van Zelst, Fox 6 News.
Here's why I love this story, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. Now, there's a little background here. In the original plan, they weren't disinvited. These elected officials who are all up in arms about, oh, you're telling me I can't be in our local parade? They could join 3 ways. Walk with the city's official floats. Seems appropriate.
Okay.
Join a community organization that they're involved in. Hello. Hope you're involved in some of those organizations. Or create a non-political float with friends and family. That seems like you're accommodating all kinds of different ways for these damn elected officials to get in the parade. But no, what they want is they want to be political. They want to celebrate party over country, my opinion, and they want to make it something that it's not. And you heard from the residents, there were both sides there, which, again, good job, Fox 6, on that reporting, because that's what originally caught my attention. We have too much grandstanding in politics now. You know, I have seen parades where it has been heavily politicized.
Like what?
Endorsement of candidates, people popping up signs during the parade should never happen.
So candidates, not elected officials.
Candidates, and I don't know if I elected officials, but candidates, no, does not belong there. But, you know, communities are sort of, we need people to be in the parade, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, the next time, I always made it a point, because I was invited to a lot of parades. I was a mayor, and I had done this.
Were you?
Yeah. But that was part of the city's thing. I didn't just like glom on and do it somewhere else. But here's the thing.
Which is also a nonpartisan position.
Here's to
at
those,
least in Wisconsin it is.
Those elected officials who somehow got their way, whether it's Barb Dietrich or others.
I was going to say, do you think this is like Ron Johnson, or do you think this is the state assembly, state senators?
The state people.
Okay.
How dare you not? How dare?
This would be Fitzgerald, right?
I think it's Scott Fitzgerald's district.
Yeah.
Look. Show up, but do it in the way they asked you to do it.
I see. That's an important detail. It wasn't that like, oh, we don't want any elected official to walk. If they're going to walk, we would like them to be part of one of these three ways of one of these three floats.
More background, I think Middleton tried this once, but the Republicans around that area complained because it was all Democrats, because I think that's who serves that area. Yeah. So I guess that was part of this. It's like amazing how much stuff we get worked up about. This is a conversation that should happen, and I applaud that local group for giving them options that are actually substantial and significant. You want to be in a damn parade?
They backed down.
They did back down because of political pressure. Oh, my goodness. How is that not on full display? Because that's what happens now. Somebody complains about it, especially a elected official, and we got to change our mind. I wish they would have held firm on that.
How often did you get like the difference between the keyboard warriors and people who were very upset versus people who would actually talk to you about things face to face? Like, what do you think the ratio was?
As mayor?
Yeah. Not now.
Probably more so just sending me stuff and not face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people, I've told you this, people are different face to face.
They're very different. This is because most recently, then we got to go break. But as I've said before, my husband's an event planner, and he was involved in a recent festival. And on the Facebook neighborhood page, there were lots of people who were very upset about a variety of different things.
Oh, yeah.
And so he made himself available.
Yeah.
Just come talk to me in person. I'm going to be here at this time if you want to get a free shirt or talk about, volunteering next year. Guess how many people showed up?
1?
0.
Well, at least he made the offer.
He did make the offer.
I know we're very late, but famous story. It wasn't like my second or third parade as mayor. First block of the parade, lady comes running out of her house, dropping F-bombs at me, like charging I think it was in a truck or something. One of the local car companies donated a truck that you can ride in. Just F-bombing. It's like, it's the 4th of July. What are you doing here?
She didn't like the IKEA.
She didn't like me. I think she was against everything. Yeah. She doesn't live there anymore. I still live in that neighborhood. So,
all right, we're late for break. We'll be back with more Point Taken after this.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet recently, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Brat Fest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at travelwisconsin.com.
There's nothing out there close to this.
The very front of the Brewers front office is on Wisconsin's Morning News.
I think it's something sort of our brand of baseball. You know, we're going to play you tough and play hard night in and night out, and we're here and we're going to fight you all 9 innings.
Brewers GM and Senior Vice President Matt Arnold is our Brewers 360 guest every Thursday morning at 8:45.
How soon do I start asking you about trades and stuff, Matt?
My phone's always on, so no.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Goodbye, stranger. It's been nice. Hope you find it.
If you want to weigh in on our conversation about the Economawalk, really it's a non-decision now. They're going to make their parade non-political. And thanks to texters who identified a couple other places in the state that apparently did something similar. Wausau apparently did something in 2011, which anybody who lives in that area, which is sort of the edge of our listening area, let us know if that still happens. I kind of like the
Wausau's
idea.
the edge of our listening area?
Yeah, that's pretty far up there.
I know, but do you think you can get 620 in
Oh,
Wausau?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
On some days, you can get it almost everywhere in the States.
On a clear day?
Including the UP. We have listeners in the UP. Did you know that?
If you were a listener in the UP,
text in,
Yeah.
855-616-1620. So all my simple questions, we're going to talk about the president's big, beautiful parade in a second, but and some other stuff before I get out of here for vacation, which is 40 minutes from now, less. Text 855-616-1620. What do you think of this Economawalk idea? So to sort of keep out the hyper-partisan, hyper-political pieces of those parades, I'm all in. And they had other ways they could have participated, which are actually much better ways to do it.
yeah. I just who goes to a parade to see your elected official?
Nobody. And here's the other thing. I've been
Like
doing
it's like such a it's someone who follows politics too. Like I'm not like
my God,
like I'm
there's
really
Brian
gonna miss
Style.
not seeing Tammy Baldwin in this parade if
Yeah.
she doesn't show up.
And by the way, if you show up at a parade, you better bring candy. What's this showing up and not throwing out candy? You bring something to give to the audience of the parade, which is kids, for the most part. Show up. Right here, we just got a text. Menominee, Michigan.
Wow.
Shout out.
There
Tell
you
us,
go.
tell us. Just send us your first name. We'll give you a shout out. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I love that.
But yeah,
Are you a parade person though? Like I'm not.
Like how do you qualify as a parade person?
When you know there's a parade coming to your neighborhood or your area, do you like say, we're putting that on our calendar. We're going to that parade.
No.
You went to the Pride Parade?
We went to the Pride Parade.
Well, you had that on your calendar.
That is very fun.
Okay.
I like the
then you
Pride
are-
Parade a lot.
Okay. That's one.
I think now that we have a kid who's of age to enjoy parades and wants to scavenge, like be a scavenger for candy.
Yes.
That is going to be more prominent in our lives than it has been in the past. I was not like a single childless woman being like, I got to go to this parade, man.
Well, that's different.
It's like I like having the Thanksgiving Day parade on in the background on Thanksgiving. I liked the parade as a kid. Like when I was, we had our neighborhood in Tacoma in Madison that like as a kid, you got to ride your bike in the parade.
Oh, yeah,
and you
everybody
decorated
remembers
your
that.
bike and stuff like that. Like that was very fun. But like, what are the? Oh, we went to the Irish, the St. Patrick's Day parade this year. That
Also
was
awesome.
fun.
So you're a parade person.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many things I'm like anti.
I try to always
go
to
with
the parades.
flow.
Yeah.
Like to have fun. Like to be out with the people on the streets, as you like to say, meeting people on the streets.
Man of the people.
Man of the people.
Love this. Pelican Lake listening. Shout out to you. Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Wow.
Listening on YouTube. Thank you for that. You could put comments on YouTube. You can actually directly correspond with us.
This is awesome.
Yeah, check it out. We love the fact, Chris and I were talking about before the show, after I get back from my wonderful trip to Scotland, which I'm really looking forward to, and seeing my buddy Gene Miller, who's actually hosting the trip. I'm just like a hangers-on. I'm a groupie for Gene Miller, apparently.
Yeah.
It's the best of all worlds because I love Gene and worked with him for a bunch of years, and I know a lot of people on the trip. We're going to have a blast. Although it's cold there, like colder, like 50.
It was cold here yesterday after being so hot on Wednesday.
So thanks to all the shout-outs. If you have a parade comment, we're going to shift gears. We got a lot of things to talk about. As Kristin said, there was a million news stories this week that we could have covered. And hopefully we hit a good sample. We got a lot of great feedback on the show this week, so thanks for that. Text line always open, 855-616-1620. We'll take a quick break. More of Kristin and Steve, point taken, right here on 620 WTMJ.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi from Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yes, I've been on this journey for about 4.5 months now, lost 40 pounds. Yes, it's the secret to losing about a pound of fat every day. Their doctor developed easy to follow. I could follow it. You can. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely. No drugs or injections. There's no risk of serious side effects. None of the gimmicky stuff, the meals, bars, shakes. You just do the work. Yeah, there's a little bit of sacrifice involved, but that's how you get good results. You do a little hard work at the front end, and you get the rewards later. Their program resets your metabolism. It certainly did mine. I went off the reduction phase months ago, and I still have lost more weight and maintained what I did lose. Their program, get this, costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most of the other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. Get started there. Many patients, 20 to 30 pounds of weight loss in a month or two. I did it. You can do it. It's crazy to watch your body lose that weight. Schedule your free consultation. I'll go slow. 262-449-1180 or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
UW-Madison is one of the country's leading hubs for supporting life-changing research and building a skilled workforce. An investment in UW-Madison helps make a healthier Wisconsin, build strong businesses, and win the war for workforce talent, not just at Madison, but across our entire state. Visit uwalumni.com/UW5 to tell your legislators to support UW-Madison in the Wisconsin state budget. That's uwalumni.com/UW5. Paid for by the Wisconsin Alumni Association.
Hey, remember, Father's Day is Sunday. Just think about how much your father means to you. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Take your dad to the Mine Shaft Family Restaurant in Hartford this week. It is the most affordable Father's Day dining destination. Hey, even if you're a kid, you've saved a little money. Treat your dad at the Mine Shaft. Your dad's Wednesday and Friday beer-battered haddock fish fry is all you can eat, just $7.99. And the all-you-can-eat Father's Day buffet is under $20. Far less than what you'll pay anywhere else. It's every dish your dad loves for under $20. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free, and they'll love that huge game room quietly set aside from the dining area while you finish up your meal with Dad. Just walk in for your Wednesday and Friday all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry for $7.99. Now that's a value. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh near the EAA. Ample seating, lots of close parking. Call and reserve your Father's Day all-you-can-eat buffet for under $20. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
This is awesome. We're seeing a lot of people text right now as far as all the different places, still largely in the Midwest.
Yeah.
But John is driving on his way to Tennessee, but they're currently in Kentucky and listening. They heard us through Indiana.
I love that.
Peter sent in the coverage map, and you would have thought that I would know our coverage map, but I did not.
Yeah,
it's pretty big.
When I first started on WTMJ, they said at any one point there are millions of people at your disposal if you have a show that's worthy of their attention, and that's Chicago and west into Iowa, into the UP and in the great state of Michigan. A couple quick parade things, then we're going to move on. We're going to pivot to something else. Chocolate's always a bad idea on 4th of July because it melts.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's cool.
Especially if you have a little toddler who's gripping it like it's her last breath.
And the other thing, this one from Dave. After many years, we'll be skipping our 4th of July parade in Cedarburg. Too many Republican floats overwhelmed with antagonistic attitude. That's sort of what I'm talking
That's a bummer.
about.
Well, it's also interesting because I've always heard that Cedarburg's like very purple.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. So I hope that's not the case. And and this is one texter's opinion. But I wanted to give the texter the credit because they took the time to write it. All right, where are we pivoting to?
I just want, because we don't have a lot of time before the bottom of the hour news. This story is insane to me. So we didn't cover it yesterday, but obviously one of the big headlines from yesterday is the fact that there was a massive plane crash in India.
Yeah.
Was it 244
Something
people
like
died?
that, yeah.
But there was a lone survivor. And so I was out at an event last night, and I did not know that because I just had assumed, I hadn't read the story in that much detail. But the fact that there was one person, so the way I read this, or the way it was explained to me, so basically the one survivor, who not only did he survive, he walked away. He had to go to the hospital to get checked out, but no serious injuries.
That doesn't happen.
And so I guess the mechanics of what happened was he was sitting in 11A, which was the seat next to the wing. And the way the explosion happened, the wing broke off and was basically ejected out before that massive explosion happened, which you look at that, you're like, how would anyone ever survive that? And I just what is the mentality of someone who survives a crash like that? Do you get a savior complex? Do you go and live every day to the fullest? This is some Final Destination plot lines.
Yeah,
and it's just insane to think about is it gratitude? Is it PTSD? Surviving that is an insane story.
I believe it was a British citizen, right?
He was Indian descent,
yes,
but a British citizen,
yeah. I mean, I guess all of the above, right? I mean, you are so lucky to be in this situation because everybody else died. And you are this lone survivor who now has all of that. We don't know the story if they were traveling with other people that they knew or where they were going and why they were there. Fascinating stuff. Texters are telling us all the great places they're listening from, including Norway, which is really awesome. For 2 years, thanks for the listens. I'm just fascinated by the story. It is an amazing.
Does it make you worried about getting on a plane tomorrow?
No, I've flown so many miles. I wish I would have kept track. It's probably a million plus miles. I flew for a living.
A lot of frequent flyer miles still?
I used to have a lot. I've used them all up. All right, we've got local news at Connie Weber. Here's now the latest from ABC.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. said it did not participate in Israel's attacks on Iran, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio did say the U.S. provided intel. President Trump says he's still hopeful Iran will make a deal with the U.S. on nuclear talks, but at the same time, he's now saying Iran is running out of time. ABC's Jonathan Carl has more.
He said, I think it's been excellent. We gave them a chance and they didn't take it. They got hit hard, very hard. And then they got hit about as hard as they're going to get hit, and there's going to be more. There's more to come, a lot more.
Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, called the strikes necessary.
Israel uncovered clear evidence that the Iranian regime was planning a surprise attack in coordination with their proxies. They had planned to invade from all sides, with thousands of terrorists and thousands of projectiles.
This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. A 12-year-old dead after an overnight shooting on Milwaukee's northwest side at 73rd and Fairmount. Nobody in custody. Kettle Moraine School District losing an elementary school. McGee Elementary in the town of Genesee will close after the 2025-26 school year. After a vote this week by the school board, the board says the closure will help the district close a projected $7.5 million budget deficit by 2031. 11 new deputies sworn into the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Thursday. Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball tells WTMJ the new deputies will have multiple duties that expand across the county, including the courthouse, airport, highway, and when they're on patrol. Time for some news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Markets are still down. Dow is off 440 points, 42,527. The Nasdaq is down 93 at 19,568. The S&P 500 is down 26 at 6,019. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Right shoulder blocked due to a broken down vehicle. This is going to be on the ramp. I-41 south at the ramp from Drexel Avenue. Slow and go I-41 both directions. Highway Q to the zoo. And slow moving traffic on I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny today, with a slight chance of an afternoon or evening shower. High 68 to 74, mostly cloudy 55 overnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow, high 70 to 78 inland. Then we've got a slight chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sunday's high 73 lakeside, 81 inland. Monday a little bit warmer, 77 lakeside up to 83. And Tuesday again a chance of showers and storms, mostly cloudy with the highs 80 lakeside, 82 inland. Right now Madison 66, Green Bay 58, Milwaukee 60 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Lake Geneva. It's where families have been making memories around the water for generations. Lakeside resorts and spas, award-winning restaurants, and charming shops are just the beginning of an unforgettable summer getaway. Lake cruises, boating, and beach lounging let you soak up the sun, water, and family time. Hike a lakeshore path, stargaze from an iconic observatory, or soar above it all in a hot air balloon. Go ziplining, visit an animal safari, or see dancing horses. Start making your memories today at visitlakegeneva.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia problems, cognitive decline. It's their specialty. They're great at it. And they also offer early memory loss classes. They can help your loved one with locations throughout our state, many here in southeast Wisconsin. I've been in their facilities. They're top notch. It's kindness at the core. It's compassion and empathy at Azura. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Shout out to a listener and musician from Ozaukee County who sent us this song. So at least her stage name, I don't know if it's her real name, but Minnie Verse.
Sounds great.
She's a great singer. She sent me this this song, I think, over an Instagram DM. But yeah, lives in Ozaukee County, local musician. This song's called Even Kings Die, which may be topical for this weekend with a lot of No Kings protests happening. I think there's 50 happening across Wisconsin.
Do you know
big
where
one
any
happening.
of them are?
There's certainly one in Cathedral Square.
Okay, that makes
I think
sense.
that's the biggest Milwaukee area one. I'm sure there's a big one in Madison. I would have to look at the nokings.org page to see the different ones. But I think there's like one up near kind of Shorewood, Whitefish Bay, one in Greendale.
Do you know who coined the phrase "No Kings"? Is that something?
So I don't know. I don't know what groups are behind, because it's very well organized.
Yes.
It gives me Indivisible vibes a little bit. That group, that organization that started in end of 2016 and end of 2017, as far as like civic organization, reaction to the first Trump administration. But I don't know for sure who is groups or people that are central.
How big? These are all just speculative. But how big of a turnout do you think we'll see in Wisconsin? Thousands?
Probably.
Or hundreds?
It seems like there's a lot of talk about this. What'll be interesting, to me, it's always the, because I chose to go to D.C. for the Women's March back in January of 2017, which was incredible. I mean, it was, I think the estimates were it was over 500,000 people that day. It was completely peaceful. The thing that my friend and I who went always reflect on is like how there was no police. And I thought about that in like looking at January 6th, right? Because like when we were there, granted it was a bunch of women, so maybe the threat wasn't high, but there was really no issues. And there really didn't seem like there was that big of a police presence despite how many people. But if you think about that day globally, millions of people across the world marched that day. So that to me is always kind of not the benchmark, but as far as what is possible for some of these kind of protests, I don't know if Saturday will rise to that occasion, but I think it'll be not insignificant.
So this is in response to the president's big, beautiful parade or whatever he's calling it. Now, you wrote a piece
I did.
For Journal Sentinel.
A fun piece.
It is fun. I laughed out loud when I listened to it.
So obviously, I think as of late, a lot of my pieces for Journal Sentinel have felt very somber, have felt very serious, have felt like, what can we joke about? What can we laugh about? And, some of my roots are still in comedy. I like to laugh. I like to make people laugh. And so I took the opportunity to poke fun at Trump's parade. And I'm already getting feedback of, well, it's the military's parade. I was like, well, last year in June, the military applied for a permit for like a 300-person, like pretty modest event. And then Trump got elected. So like, would this parade be happening for the 250th anniversary if Trump wasn't president? I don't think so.
To the tune of $45 million.
So it's Trump's parade. So I made the 5 reasons Trump's big fat military parade is like your friend's over-the-top gauche wedding.
Which is kind of,
So I basically have
silly.
5 different reasons that this is, if you've ever been to one of those weddings, that it's basically they took out a mortgage to be able to pay for all of the little details that can potentially go viral. So if you read it, it is supposed to make you laugh. I'm sure it's going to piss some people off. I already got one comment on the Instagram video today that says, I love Journal Sentinel, but I hate Kristin Brey.
Wow, hates the H word.
So if you would like to read it, I'm warning you now, it's supposed to be satire. It's supposed to be funny, but I did put it in the talk and text line. So if you'd like to read it, you can text parade to 855-616-1620. And I hope it makes you laugh out loud because that is the intent.
And if you're a Trump supporter and fan, you should also listen to it. I think there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yes. It just seems like it is, it's over the top.
That's good.
I heard that the finale, I don't know if this is true, but I read this in Axios. The finale is going to be air troopers dropping down and then presenting a flag to the president.
I think that's right, because I think I just read that in a story.
Do you think there's going to be more fireworks or a drone show? Or both?
I don't, maybe both. Drones are big now, so I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen other big events in D.C. where they use drones, including one I was there a couple of Mays ago. So, yeah, probably drones and some fireworks.
Okay.
Check it out for fireworks and fun. How do they find it real quick? Just go text.
Well, it's on JS Online.
Yep.
But if you text a parade to 855-616-1620, we'll send you the link.
All right. Lots more in the remaining 20 minutes of my week. Well, your week, too. And then,
yeah, I mean, I just don't have vacation next week. I got to do double duty.
You do. And you're ready for it, I can tell. She's Kristin, I'm Steve. Point taken on 620 WTMJ.
I guess one of the biggest sacrifices that I think we made starting Penny Mustard was personal time.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Yeah, we just lived, ate, and breathed work all the time for years.
Yep.
And moving from a town where I knew a lot of people, I was going to school in Eau Claire and kind of living the college life, to moving to Milwaukee and work all the time where I knew nobody. We didn't know anybody down here.
Yep.
And it took us a long time before we knew a lot of people down here.
Well, we were working so much.
And we were working a lot.
Yeah.
And that's hard, especially when you're in your younger 20s.
Yeah.
That's when you're supposed to be partying.
I do remember, I think I was 31 before I actually stayed out till midnight on New Year's Eve.
Holy cow.
Because New Year's Day is a big day, and you were on the sales floor, and you can't stay out till midnight and do what you got to do the next day. That was like a milestone in my life where I actually stayed out till midnight because I didn't have to be at a store the next day. I was 31 years old already.
That's impressive. And embarrassing.
Well, probably.
See more at pennymustard.com.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home. It's the first thing people see, and it's the best return for your money on investment. At Lifetime Door, if you have an emergency, they'll come out 7 days a week to service existing garage doors and openers. 5% off any service or install at Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Get started now, 262-783-4004, lifetimedoor.net.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands? is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just one day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family values. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Rocking it on a Friday.
I saw them live when they were at
620 WTMJ, Kristin and Steve.
the Harley Davidson homecoming.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters, they were very good live.
They are good.
They were very good live. All right, what are we talking about next?
Friday.
You got 15 minutes left, big guy.
Not that we're counting down. And shout out to one of the texters is going on the trip tomorrow with me. I said, make sure you introduce yourself.
Be so fun.
It will be fun. Friday the 13th.
Today.
Big deal for you or not? No? Not me neither. Like, I don't even...
Is there any superstitious things that you follow?
That's a
Black
good
cats, broken mirrors, spilled salt, wearing the same outfit on a winning streak.
The one my mom said when I was little, make sure you change your underwear every day. So if you go to the hospital, you're not embarrassing yourself. Remember that one? That's not in your generation, but that was make sure you got the fresh clean underwear on. That's what they told us.
Are you ever worried about like if you died and they had to go through your phone or your
No.
Google search?
No.
What they would find?
No, I'm pretty safe.
Yeah.
Really safe. I've learned
You learned how to use that incognito mode?
No. Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
On what?
On Google, you can use incognito. Supposedly, I think they've actually had lawsuits against them because it's not as incognito as they say it is.
But why would I do that? Because I think everything on the internet's public.
It is.
For
Well,
the
what do
most
you mean?
part.
As far as like your search history?
I don't care what you think you're doing. It's all public at some point. That's not. Maybe it's because I was an elected official and like all your emails could be looked at, and I'm like, all right, go ahead, look at my emails.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're having conversations like that, do it in person, right?
Yes. But anyways, so to this year, there's only one Friday the 13th, which is today.
Mhm.
Next year, there's going to be 3.
3 of them. So 3 times.
So for people who are believers that today is bad luck.
Would you
Is it true that there's a lot of buildings that don't have a 13th floor? Is that an urban legend?
No, there's hotels that don't have 13 floors, which I always thought was weird.
That is interesting.
And that's one of those legacy things, right? 13 was now we have like really
Do you
smart
believe in
listeners.
ghosts?
No.
Is there any UFOs?
No.
Aliens?
No.
You're a very tangible person.
I gotta touch it and feel
Okay.
it and squeeze it. No, it's just not something I believe in. Could there be? I guess. You asked me this question about aliens once before. There are alien life forms. They're just not walking around in the way that we envision them driving, flying spaceships. They're probably just blobs on some planet far away from ours.
You don't think they're smarter than us?
They could be in their own blob way, yes. Why would we think that a alien species would have any of the same, not DNA, but makeup that we have, arms and legs? And
You a Star
fingers?
Wars guy?
No.
Star Trek?
I love Star Trek.
Oh, so you like Star Trek but not Star Wars?
I wouldn't say I don't like Star Wars. I like Star Trek more.
Why? No, I'm serious because I think this is like a common debate. There's some people who are Star Trek people, and there's some people who are Star Wars people.
Billy Shatner, that's why.
There you go.
The dude was on fire.
You kind of look at like Billy Shatner.
Well, thank you for that.
You kind of got, you have a Shatner vibe.
I hope I have his longevity because he's like 90
Maybe
now.
you'll get to go to space.
I would go to space.
I know you would.
If someone else would pay for it. Because that's a long way. And a long way for a short time for a hell of a lot of money. That's not a good investment in my opinion. And I'm an investment guy. I pay attention to that stuff. So would you walk under a ladder?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't think about it.
Black cat?
Don't think about
Nothing. What's the other creepy one?
I believe in karma. Like, I think
Spilled
good things.
salt.
Yeah,
Spilled
spilling
salt.
salt.
Yeah,
Like,
thank
those
you,
kind of
Jess.
like superficial things I don't really think of. I think of if you are a good person, good things come back around. And I like to think if you were a bad person, eventually. But sometimes there's just some of those people who are like, God, you just keep getting away with it. I'm not even talking, I'm talking about just the people like
Not
certain like
politics.
narcissists in your
Yeah,
life.
I don't
You're
like
how
them.
do you just keep winning? Like, you're not a good person. But I think eventually it's going to catch up to them.
Yeah, and to the texter, their birthday's today. So happy birthday, on Friday the 13th. What do you think, texter? Do you care that it's on Friday the 13th? I wouldn't think so, but it just happens to be a Friday this year. I suppose every 7 years it goes around and you get to be a Friday the 13th baby.
Someone said, watch her video. It's really funny.
The singer?
I think they're talking about my video. I think.
Oh, yeah. I laughed out loud.
You did laugh out loud. That made me happy.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break, and then we're going to
Talk about fathers and Father's Day.
Yeah, because it's that weekend. All right, Kristin and Steve, point taken on 620 WTMJ.
Burning out his fuse out here, alone. I think it's going to be a long, long time.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi here. Will rates go up or down? We'll know more on June 18th. That's when the Fed announces its next rate decision. If you're wondering how the Fed's announcement will impact your decisions from buying a new home to planning your investments, join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, who's been a guest on this program. Outstanding analysis. You'll have his instant insight at 2 p.m. on June 18th. Instant insight is when Annex goes live for important announcements like the Fed's announcement with their reaction and explains what it means for you and your money. When it comes to your financial future, a bit of expert insight could help you understand what's going on. Visit WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com. Register now for Instant Insight, the Fed and the markets, June 18th at 2 p.m. live after the Fed makes its big announcement. Register now. Visit WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com. Register now. Don't wait. Register now for Instant Insight, the Fed and the markets, June 18th at 2 p.m. live after the Fed makes its big announcement.
Brake issues, electrical issues, four-wheel drive issues, exhaust issues, and even my car just won't start issues.
You name it, we fixed it.
So the next time you're due for service, drive it on into Richlands and let our ASE certified technicians get you fixed up and safely back on the road.
Nothing warms my heart more than seeing our customers drive out of here with big old smiles on their faces. And all the credit goes to our staff, the most friendly, honest, hardworking, knowledgeable people in the business.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved,
and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to provide you with top-notch service.
And after your vehicle's been serviced, drop us a Google review and let us know how we did.
Because a Google review from you goes a long way. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Flooring, carpeting, bath, or kitchen remodeling. Adair is the name Milwaukee has trusted for 65 years. This is Rob Adair. Ready to remodel? Give us a call, 761-3660. Get personal care from Adair, South 27th in Franklin.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Outdoor Living Unlimited. Outdoor Living Unlimited recently completed an amazing project. Imagine a backyard with a beautiful deck, automated pergola, and an outdoor kitchen with an amazing outdoor fireplace as its focal point, creating that $1 million feeling every time you relax. Looking for a company to make your backyard scream wow? Stop by our beautiful showroom in Waukesha or visit our website at outdoorlivingunlimited.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I am Steve. There are many other Steves.
America's calling for this to be played a lot more often. Thanks to the producer Jazz for bringing that back. I am Steve.
It feels like the music video should have like robots.
Yeah, almost like a Devo. Remember Devo? That
just like a bunch of Steve robots.
Real quick, somebody asked why we're not talking about the origin story because it's confused on Friday the 13th. There's biblical narratives. There's Norse mythology.
I actually don't know the origin of Friday the 13th. That is.
Yeah, there's like 5 different versions.
Okay.
One goes back to biblical times. The Last Supper is another one. Judas was the 13th guest. The Knights Templar being arrested by the King of France.
Do you know that, or did you look it up?
I knew some of it. I did cheat a little bit. I watch a lot of historical television, young Kristin. All right. It is Father's Day weekend. I will be traveling, but I did want to get my dad. I'll actually see my dad in about a half hour or so. My dad, Dominic, great father to 4 boys who are not, we were roughnecks and troublemakers, and we didn't listen, and he was still a great dad. And he sort of led by example, hard worker, tremendous guy, great family man. Married my mom in England, which I'll be close to. I'll be in the UK. So I want to give him a shout out. Your dad, amazing guy. Pete Brey.
My parents en route to come to Milwaukee this weekend, so I'm very excited to spend time with them. But yes, my dad, wonderful father, great coach, led by example similarly as far as showing up for his community, showing up for us as teammates and all the kids that he helped through being a coach. Obviously supported me throughout my decisions to go to LA and all of that. But yeah, I'm excited to be able to spend time with them.
So the thing I always talk about with my dad, because people have asked me about my dad was a meteorologist for many years, National Weather Service. Like, what did you, my dad's thing was do the right thing. Just do the right thing. I mean, use your brain. You'll stumble along the way. You'll make mistakes. No one's perfect, and there's always those ups and downs, cycles of life. But do the right thing, and usually it'll work out. Doesn't always work out, but usually it works out. What did you take away from your dad?
I think much of my stuff with my dad is the resiliency that we learned through sports. Because obviously, like I've said multiple times, big basketball player. He played for the Badgers, but he spent his entire life, even after he was done playing, coaching. And he was my coach. He was my brother's coach. A lot of people's coaches. And I feel like the reason I was able to, the resiliency of why I think sports is important is because you learn how to lose.
Oh, yeah.
You learn how to win, but most important, like you learn how to lose. And so then I think like I took that into being an actress. And I heard no a lot more than I heard yes, right? And then working in sales. You hear no a lot more than you hear yes, right? And so it's like the resiliency that I think started with sports, that I think started specifically with my dad, is learning how to lose, learning how to get back up, and learning how to keep like going forward no matter what, and this translates to a lot of things, whether it's health or relationships or whatever, and like just like the perseverance to keep going. So I certainly think I learned that from him. But I'll also give a shout out to my husband.
Yes.
Michael Sampson.
A newer dad. But I would say, and I don't, it'd be interesting to see how many other millennial moms feel like this, but like I could not do what I do if he weren't like my 50-50 partner and everything that we do as far as being with Frankie. And so like the fact that we are both very busy and both very ambitious, but the fact that we split so much of the responsibilities of the house, of parenting, and never hold resentment about it or anything. Like we were truly, truly a team. And so he is an unbelievable dad. I'm very happy that I chose to have a child with him. There you go. Worked out. And he is a good dad. He's a good guy as well. So I always say this on this day or this weekend. It's not necessarily about the present. It's about the presence. Be there for your dad. If you can't be there, at least talk on the phone. Don't text.
Don't text. Pick up the phone.
Talk.
FaceTime.
Or if you can be there, spend some time. You don't have to have a party. Just sit and talk.
I'll shout out my father-in-law, too, because we're going to be with Bruce.
Absolutely.
Bruce is also a great dad.
There you go. Bruce, happy Father's Day. Pete, happy Father's Day. Dominic, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Yes, thank you for that. And I will be traveling tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with Gene Miller.
Happy Father's Day to Gene Miller.
Yeah, he's a legend, that guy.
We'll
have fun.
I can't wait for stories.
I'll tell you about it when we get back.
You're going to call me on my birthday?
I will try.
On air?
I will do my best.
All right.
I'll do my best.
All right. I'll be here Monday. You're stuck with me all next week until Steve gets back. But for now, news is next.
I'd agree, but it's them they know, not me. Now there's a way, and I
Hey, it's Father's Day weekend. Don't forget your dad. WTMJ's John Mercure here tonight through Sunday at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. All dinners are buy one, get one free. This is an incredible place to treat your dad. What great value, too. This Saturday only, enjoy a 10-ounce prime rib and a 5-ounce lobster tail with garlic cream sauce, your choice of potato, fresh vegetables, super salad, and the Fox and Hound's warm bread with that honey cinnamon butter. I love that. For $79.99, and that's for 2 dinners. 2 dinners. Celebrate with your dad with an old-fashioned, over 20 bourbons, 100 wines, all the ice-cold beer choices that he loves in those 8 unique dining rooms. The Fox and Hound sits in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. The drive and the views are spectacular. And your second dinner is free. This Saturday only, your prime rib